If you grew up in Haiti, the chances are you used to eat this in the morning for breakfast on your way to school. This was my favorite thing. Let me show you how to make it. I'm using my grandmother's recipe. My grandmother used to sell this, and the way she made it was very different. So you need to use fresh ground pepper. This gives the dough really good flavor, and some baking soda. Mix all of that in the flour, and then in 4 cups of water, add 2 tablespoons of oil, vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of Nor chicken bouillon, and mix it well. In the flour, add some butter, 2 tablespoons of butter. Break the butter. If you have a butter cutter, you could use that, but I use my hand. So mix it well. Once the butter is all broken down, go ahead and add the water to the flour and mix well until it forms a dough. You want a really soft dough. Be generous with the water. Don't go too light because you don't want a hard dough. You want a very, very soft dough. So mix well. The dough will be sticky, but keep mixing, keep kneading it. Knead it for a good 10 minutes. I promise you, it's a lot of work, but the more you knead the dough, the better the dough will be. You'll have a really nice dough. So I'm using sardine. I'm using a sardine in tomato sauce, and one in not in tomato sauce. Feel free to use whatever you like. In a hot pan, go ahead and add some oil, and then fry some epis, and add your peppers and onion. Let it fry. After the peppers and onion looks translucent, you let it cook for about 5 minutes. Go ahead and add the sardine, and this is why I use the tomato and with the sardine with tomato sauce, because I wanted to use that sauce. So go ahead and season. I'm seasoning it with Nor chicken bouillon, Old Bay, and some sazon. And of course, don't forget to add some lime juice and some black pepper, salt to taste. Go ahead and give it a stir and let it cook for a few minutes. You don't need to cook it for long because the sardine is already cooked. And then add your parsley and fresh thyme. Give it a stir and cook for a few minutes, about 3 minutes. Be sure to cook the onion and the peppers early and let them cook throughout, because you don't want them to be too because the sardine won't take too long. The sardine is already cooked. It doesn't take long. So go ahead and do that. Once you add your parsley and your thyme, give it a stir, let it cook for another couple minutes, and then you're all done. And transfer it to a bowl, let it cool down. With this patty, I'm also adding boiled eggs, so make sure you boil your eggs and set it aside. I assume that you already boiled your eggs, which I did, so just use hard boiled eggs, which takes about 7 to 10 minutes depending on how well you like your eggs to be boiled. Mine are boiled well. So let me show you what the dough looks like when you knead it for a very long time, when it's very soft. You see how elastic it is? So the gluten has developed. After you form the dough, you make your dough. Let it rest for a good time, at least 1 hour. The longer you let it rest, the better dough you will get, I promise you. Like I said, be generous. You want the dough to be very, very soft. You see how soft and elastic it is? When your dough is like that, you're gonna have a really good pate. So make sure to have extra flour for the dusting, because you're gonna roll and you're gonna need a dough. If you have a stand mixer, you're lucky. Use it, because that will save you so much time, because you can leave it in the stand mixer to knead for 15 minutes, and then you're done. You don't have to do the work. But if you don't have a stand mixer like me, well, now I have one. Thank you very much. Now I have one. But when I didn't have one, this is what I did. I knead my dough by hand on the counter for 10 minutes, and that's it. So after you knead your dough on the counter, after it has rested for a little bit, you're gonna add a tablespoon of oil. So we're gonna add a little bit and then knead it, because you want the whole dough to get that. The oil gives it a really good texture. It's not too flaky. It's like doughy, like gooey. I love that texture it gives it more than butter, because the butter makes it a little bit more flaky. So this is why I like to use the vegetable oil. So add the remaining of the oil, and then go ahead and knead it again. Make sure all the oil get in there. I promise you, this recipe, you're gonna do a lot of kneading. I know, but you're gonna enjoy it. You're going to enjoy these patties. I promise you that. So keep kneading and knead and knead and knead and knead and knead and knead. If you don't have a stand mixer, you should get one, because I just got one and it's like the best thing ever. I'm so grateful for it. But look at the dough. Look at it. You see how beautiful and elastic it looks? Like I said, be generous with the water. Like, the dough will be sticking in your hand. Keep kneading. Use extra flour when you're rolling it. So to roll it, go ahead and dust your countertop, your surface, with some flour, and take a small piece of dough, roll it, form it into a disc. Make sure it's flat, and then place it on the surface. Make sure you cover the dough with flour. Dust the dough with flour so it doesn't stick on the roll. Or you can also dust the roll, so that way the roller, so that way it's not sticking around. So go ahead and roll your dough. Make sure you roll it on both sides, not just one. Like I said, use extra flour for the dusting so that way you have a easier time rolling it. And normally you can shape those patties whichever way you want. I'm gonna shape it into like a look. It's gonna look like a empanada in a way. But you can shape it where you do one on top of each other. I gotta show you guys that one day. So go ahead and add your filling, which is the sardine. Be generous. Usually, if you buy patties at the restaurants, they are so stingy with the filling. They add a very little bit. So go ahead and add the sardine and the egg and cut it into pieces in there, and then just fold the dough, and you're gonna seal it with your hands. Go ahead and seal it with your hands. This is optional. This step is optional. You can use a fork or you can use a knife. I like to use the knife for it because I like the crunch. So after you seal it, let me show you what I was talking about. After you seal it, we're gonna cut into the edges. We're just gonna cut them. Seal it well so it doesn't open when you're frying it. You can also use a fork to seal it, but I use both actually. It depends. Like I use the fork and the knife, so like when I'm making it, if I like made some for the kids, I don't make it spicy, I would use the knife for the kids. You see this side, I love using the knife for this to cut the edges. These parts are so good, super crunchy. So make sure your oil is super hot. You can check it with a little piece of dough, or you can use a wooden spoon to check the oil, and place your dough in the oil and fry it until it's golden brown. One step that is necessary is to use a knife or one of those, I don't know what you call these spoons, this fork, so to poke it, because you want to make sure that the inside of the dough is well cooked. My dough is not thick, so obviously it's going to be cooked, but this is important when you're making patties, because you don't want the dough to be uncooked on the inside. So let it fry until it's golden brown like this. This is beautiful. This is exactly what my skin tone look like. Exactly this, like that. Once it looks like me, it's good. Take it out. So make sure you flip it, and this is it, you guys. Super easy. I want to eat this right now. I've been thinking about patties lately. I think I'm gonna make some really soon. So I made this before moving to Dallas. So if you enjoy this recipe, make sure you give the recipe a thumbs up, and also subscribe for more, and turn the post notification bell button. Those patties are amazing. You won't stop eating. This is something I can eat all the time, and of course with cool one. I hope that you find this recipe helpful, and I do hope that you get better at making patties. And if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what else you would like to see me make for you guys. Thank you so much for watching.